Welcome to the Autistic Page. If you are. I always have such a weird time starting out here on YouTube. So I'm going to go to Autism Speaks here. Okay.
We wanted help.
Greetings, minions and associates. If you are. Let's see if I am. Do I have. I'm so not good at lives yet. There we go. Alrighty. Greetings, minions and associates. If you are. All right. All right, I'm going to take a look, and we're going to look at how ableist, if any, these videos are. I am very happy to report that Autism Speaks. Actually, it's mostly Eileen Lamb, I think. That's her doing that. She has really started working with this Autism Speaks YouTube channel and started to interview autistic people, which is amazing. Now, they still don't qualify autistic people as being smart enough to take care of ourselves or smart enough to listen to, or, you know, as a good source of, like, how to deal with autism. Still doesn't happen, but at least they're doing this. So I want to see the direction that these go in.
I'm definitely proud of, first of all, how far I've come. Being able to manage my behavior on a daily basis.
Oh, okay, this guy is brainwashed, unfortunately. He has been indoctrinated into the whole ABA thing, and he believes he's a bad person. He's talking about his bad behaviors, not the fact that he has sensitivities and he has a different brain type. And he will not mention, I've never seen this, but he will not mention that he has a different brain type or that he is a normal person, a normal autistic person. He's going to talk about his bad behaviors that people don't like, and how, and frame it in that way as if he's an awful person and he has to be trained to do better.
And, you know, the amount of work and commitment it took to do that is nothing small.
So sad. Now, Autism Speaks, by the way, they love these white pages, which is annoying as hell. They hurt me. Eileen, stop! Please stop, Eileen. No more white screens. It hurts. And being an autistic person, I would think you would have known that, but...
He was a very healthy baby, a normal developing.
Oh boy, now this is more than likely, because it's Autism Speaks, to kind of go into the victim thing of the parents. They're victims of their autistic child.
Infant and then toddler. There were a few sensory issues that he was dealing with.
Whether it was his hands flapping when he was getting excited.
Yep.
Hey, so far so good. Actually, maybe they're going to prove me wrong. I sure hope so.
Or sometimes even if he would be rubbing his face a little bit on the carpet. And,
oh my God, that kid is so cute.
you know, of course, the preschool teacher knows that's not typical. I think in our minds it was sort of like, okay, let's get a diagnosis, let's get an answer, right?
Yeah.
You know?
He was diagnosed with Asperger's, which was later, 1 year later, I believe, was just ASD.
So that would have been 2015 probably that he was diagnosed?
I definitely recall in fifth grade moments where they would, you know, get frustrated with me because I didn't understand how to utilize problem-solving skills. You know, why can't you just, you know, function like the rest of us? And teaching my classmates about autism really did is allowed them to understand why I did the things I did. And when you can understand why, you can relate to someone on a more personal level, and the parts of me that made me different.
I am very impressed so far. I am so impressed. I don't see any ableism in this at all right now.
Were seen as unique characteristics of me. My classmates were incredibly receptive. Probably gives hope to a lot of people.
Cool.
I was really nervous to go to college because it is incredibly stressful to have an interaction with other people, because the amount of effort and attention that I have to put on every element of my social being. I always called it being in manual, because when you're in a car, you have automatic transmission that always changes gears for you. But when you have to learn all these social skills yourself, you always have to be in manual. You always have to be watching other people. Today, a lot of times
yeah, just like any human being. But for us, we do have a different style of communicating, and neurotypical people do not understand that. That does not mean, and I think he's kind of slipping down the slope of saying, well, I have deficits in communication. I can't communicate properly. And scientifically, we have proven that that is completely wrong. We know that if you get autistic people together, it's scientifically proven, they can communicate fairly well. If you get two allistic people together, that is two people who are not autistic, they can communicate quite well. But when you get an autistic person and a allistic person who is not autistic, there's where the communication barriers happen. And the problem is actually the communication barrier lies in the allistic people, because we speak bluntly and we speak the facts. We don't have any nuance, and we don't make suggestions or anything else, and so there's really no guessing or inferring what we're saying, so there's a lot less chance of there being communication errors. Now, when allistic people talk, the words don't matter at all. It's the intent of the sentence. Okay, with autistic people, because of these communication barriers with allistic people, we are extremely meticulous about the particular words that we use, because words have meanings, and that's how we understand. We don't get the nuance. We don't understand the what's implied or what's expected. We understand what's put out directly in front of us that we can see that is very obvious. So let's see where it goes here.
You always have to be watching other people. Today, a lot of times I find it very validating to, talk to people about, oh, how hard that class was, or, oh, I'm not the only one whose attention was going in and out. I guess I definitely took some sort of comfort from knowing that everyone else was struggling through similar things.
I am so freaking impressed. Wow, I thought he was going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm very impressed. I'm happy.
You always look up to these figures and you think, they know what they're doing, but, a lot of times you have to forge your own path.
Yeah, I'm probably right now Autism Speaks' worst critic, and I like to be fair, and I like to be honest and reasonable. And right now, I actually don't see any, with all the problems, and as much as I want Autism Speaks to no longer exist, I so far have not found any flaws with this thing.
It has changed all of us. I think they have learned so much about how to be a decent human being because of him.
It is such a rewarding experience to watch him grow. It's given me the opportunity to really think about how other people see the world.
Finding a safe and supportive community has made an incredible difference for thousands of people. Thousands of people? Okay, what about autistic people?
Autism Awareness Month and Walk were the two periods of time where we were in
all that blue that autistic people hate. The autistic community hates blue because of Autism Speaks and the hate that they have portrayed towards autistic people. So once again, here's another fail on Autism Speaks. So this is the first fail.
Welcome community. We did not feel
We're going to see puzzle pieces here, I'm sure.
different. We felt like
Yep, there we go.
it was a big celebration.
I'm laughing at this. I've done the worst in my predictions ever, I think, on this video. Usually I can just call the shot, so I'm very happy.
We found this organization where they can get a bunch of volunteers to spread that information. Oh, do I want to be a part of that? 100%.
Yes, and Google is far better. Their website, the reason they have quote a search engine is so that they can say that they sent autistic people, that they gave them resources. And that's it. That's all they got to do. It doesn't matter if as long as they have that website there and autistic people go to it, they can say that they help autistic people get the resources. The thing is it doesn't matter if that search engine actually got them anywhere or helped them at all. It does not matter, and they don't care. It's all about being able to say, we help autistic people, and so they could gain more money. You don't use their search engine. Just go to Google. You will have, I call it the Google challenge. Pick an issue, say autism ADHD. You want to find out about that, whatever. You go to their site. It's going to be very, very difficult, or housing, or whatever. Yes, there are some things, but for the most part, absolutely, you're going to do a million times better just Googling it. It's just pretty much a sham. Oh, that's Keith Wargo. He gave me an email and was wanting to know what the autistic community needed, and it's up on TikTok. You can see it. And I refused to return that email. Instead, I have gone public and publicly told them that they need to get a hold of the actually autistic community and ask them. I'm just an autistic guy. I'm not the community. I have also asked to interview them and to speak with them live, and they refuse to do so. And the reason is because they know I'm going to ask tough questions, like about the lobbying to get Republicans elected in the House of Representatives. And I have videos that where I've shown that. I talk about that daily. I will be making, I guess I do need to make a specific video on that, so maybe I'll get on that today.
Pride in, contributing to a society that, making sure that people with autism have hope, have,
Oops, people with autism. This is a thing that Autism Speaks loves. I just spit a little. That was gross. They love to characterize it as a disease, like it's separate from that autistic person. I am autistic because of how my brain formed inside my mother's womb. It is a brain type because my brain, and in different places, some parts are a little bit bigger or lesser, or some parts have a little bit more control and so forth. Also, how our brain's literally wired, how our synapses is different. We are a normal human being brain type, a normal human being neurotype. It is not a disease. We are born autistic, just like people are born not autistic. Either way, we're human. We did not catch it. We will always have it. It is not a disease. It is a brain type, a neurotype. That is all. And it is a normal brain type.
A better experience, are able to access the tools they need. And also
blue and freaking puzzle pieces. Ugh.
Just spreading awareness. That is very important because we're talking about how much...
No. I am so freaking tired of awareness. I discovered I was autistic at 50, which is about 30 years ago. And before then, I would laugh every time autism awareness. It's autism awareness. I was like, okay, we're freaking aware. Who the hell cares? Because that's where it stopped. It's autism. So what? Okay, it's there. And that's where it stopped every single time. So what we do need is education. But more than anything, we need the autistic voice, autistic people speaking for themselves. The problem with Autism Speaks is they do not want to speak for autistic people. They try to speak instead of autistic people.
Opportunities kids will have later in life.
And back to the white screen. Stop that, Eileen. And here's their. People were complaining about the puzzle piece and light it up blue. So they're like, okay. So they change and they kind of put a little rainbowish thing in the puzzle piece, knowing that the autistic community, the actually autistic community, hates that puzzle piece. But they don't care about how that affects the autistic community, which is very obvious. So they will not change it to something else. Now, right now, the actually autistic community is using a infinity sign, and it's kind of like a rainbow thing. It's pretty cool. And I think the autistic community as a whole that's what we would want to go for, probably as far as representing autistic people. All right. So I am gonna go on. Whoa, whoops.
I am.
So yeah, overall, I was quite impressed with this thing.
Welcome to Adulting on the Spectrum. In this podcast, we want to.
You know that really pisses me off. The adulting on the spectrum. That is so infantilizing. It is absolutely infantilizing to say adulting on the spectrum. And then she interviews adults of all different ages and so forth. That's just, that I'm 53 years old. I am not adulting on the spectrum. I am a grown ass man.
To highlight.
Of course, we go with all this white screen here. It's Autism Speaks, and they go with these huge white pages all the time.
Real voices of autistic adults, not just inspirational stories, but people like us talking about their day-to-day life. Basically, we want to give a voice to a variety of autistic people. I'm Eileen Lam, an autistic author and photographer, and I co-host this podcast with Andrew Camero. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Eileen. I'm Andrew Camero. I'm the founder of the Neurodiversity Index. Today, our guest is Scott Steindorf. Scott Steindorf is an international television and film producer and writer who specializes in adapting literary bestsellers into premium movies and television.
Okay, Autism Speaks makes $39 million a year, and yet they're putting their stuff out in 480p.
His most recent project that
I don't have an income, and I'm putting out in 4K.
Executive produced is Station 11, a book-to-screen adaptation which was released on HBO Max on December 16th, with an outpouring of overwhelmingly positive reviews and accolades. Scott is also an ARC board member and neurodiversity advocate who regularly speaks with high schools and colleges across the country on the importance of emotions and feelings, as well as facing substance abuse. We like to start off every episode with asking about identity language, and we don't mean pronouns, although you feel free to share that too. We mean, do you have a preference, person with autism?
And they prefer person with autism as it's a disease, and they've been talked about that and talked about that and talked about that. They frame autism as if it is a disease, as if we are malfunctioned, if something's wrong with us. And it's not. It's just our brain type. We are different. And it's really sad that they're continuing. At least they're asking an individual, and I would definitely go off on this tangent if they asked me the same. I guarantee you they will never, ever interview me. And the comments are turned off. Now, when an organization, I have a lot of experience with cults and so forth. I used to help people escape cults. I haven't done that in quite a few years now. So I dealt with cults a lot. and cults on YouTube and so forth. It is a red flag when comments are turned off because they don't want people to speak the truth. They do not want people to speak out against them because they cannot defend themselves. Now, on some of their more recent videos, they have left the comments open, and I commend them.
Autistic person on the spectrum, or no preference?
I'm autistic and proud of it.
And I am too. Thank you very much, sir.
Speaking of, when were you diagnosed with autism, and what was the process like? And what made you seek a diagnosis? You seem to be successful in life. Was there an event, something that made you seek a diagnosis? Can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm in my early 60s, and so I'm part of the lost generation where there wasn't a lot of autism diagnosis for children. And I grew up in a small.
I'm 55, or not 55. Wow, I'm 53. I was born in 1970, so he's probably born in the 60s. And no, there wasn't. Now they did in the late 60s is when they started to apply behavioral science to the developmentally impaired or the special people or whatever they wanted to call them at the time, call me at the time. But no, I wasn't diagnosed either, and that was very common. Neither was my mother or grandmother, and they were. I know my mom was autistic. She was diagnosed as schizophrenic, which is very common misdiagnosis for women because they did not get the autism diagnosis, so they were diagnosed with schizophrenia at the time.
Small town in Minnesota, and at the age of 10, the teacher took me out of class and said, "You can't make eye contact, you stare into space, you seem to have difficulty focusing, and we think you're taking drugs." So my first diagnosis was that.
And if you have any contact as an autistic person with police, they are taught that if you're acting weird, you're on drugs and you are trying to kill them. And they're going to get extremely aggressive most times right off the bat. And the more upset or the more, quote, autistic you act, the more likely you are to be assaulted or murdered by the police, killed by the police.
I was probably sniffing glue.
And every time when that happens, they're like, well, it was within our policy. So it's policy to kill autistic people, evidently.
Glue. And then they took me to the principal, and my parents had to come.
I spent so much time at the principal's office. I was being bullied and stuff like that. And the thing is I was not actually a problem child, but I was always in trouble.
Come in, and so that was my first unofficial diagnosis. In my early 20s, I was diagnosed with ADD, and I was in denial of it. I did not want to accept that I had ADD.
So ADD is a ADHD now. They simply changed the name. It was attention deficit disorder. Now it's called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
And then in my, I knew I had something associated with spectrum, but again, I'm older, so there wasn't a lot of information everywhere about it. And so my youngest daughter, who was diagnosed with ADHD,
okay, this is a pretty cool video.
Had been.
I'm not gonna. It looks like it's an autistic person talking there, so I'm not gonna really get too weird on it. Let's see what this says. As Jack's legal guardians and family, we know that sharing our story is what Jack would want and shows our family need for additional supports services beyond school. nice sad music. At least they got a black screen here, so it's not hurting me.
It's more than just a kid with autism. You've got a real person in there who can only express.
That was ableist. You got a real person in there. Like, of course it's a real person.
His feelings in certain ways.
When he's having a great day, that in a sense is a celebration to us, because then we know, okay, we have an opportunity now, we can get him outside. We can maybe go someplace.
You do get.
And it can be very, very hard, particularly with high support needs autistics. Right here, he's out on the beach, and I wear long sleeves all the time, so more than likely on that beach you can see the well, I call them snow fences. I don't know what they're called on beach, but so yeah, there's lots of sensitivities and so forth, and with all the noise here and everything going on, yeah, it can be a pretty much a sensory nightmare sometimes. And the thing is our sensitivities can change.
Some looks, he scares the heck out of a bunch of people if he lets out a scream or something. And when we're outside and walking, the smile.
He connects with me, and there's nothing better than when I know he's with me. And there's nothing more you could want. Jack is, he's in and out. He is unfortunately out a lot more lately than he is in. There are days when he seems with it, and then there are lots of times of the day that he just seems to not be with you. He doesn't seem to be a part of what's going on around him.
And that's because our brains race. And our brains are going so fast. There's so much going on. Then if we have sensitivities, we tend to internalize everything, and it's like a coping mechanism, like the panic room, so to speak. And so we internalize, and a lot of like our hearing and our vision, kind of I don't know how to describe it, but we are in touch with the outside world. At least I am, and we can perceive it, but we are completely unconcerned about it. Completely unconcerned because there's just too much going on.
He's got such a sense of humor. It doesn't take a lot to make him laugh, and when he laughs, the whole world laughs with him. And that is the part about it
That's because we're funny. We are really funny. Hey, what happened? I
So Jack was automatically screened because his older brother had been diagnosed.
Excellent, excellent, excellent choice. Now, if you have a family member at all, I've been preaching this for a while now. If you have a family member that is autistic, it's genetic. Just keep that in mind. You might want to get checked out. If you find out that you have an autistic friend, just even one, autistic people are very, very strongly, neurodivergents in general, are very, very strongly attracted to each other. If you find one autistic, around them, you're going to find a bunch of autistics. It's just how it is. So even if you have a friend that has been diagnosed autistic, at least consider that you could be autistic.
We know that Jack has extreme difficulty dealing with frustration and expressing himself, and the only way he knows how to do that is physically.
Whether it's a scream or a yell, banging the wall or banging on a door or something like that, those are responses that let you know, like, you know, this is not good, something's going on with him.
At least they understand that. And ABA would approach that, well, that's a bad behavior and we better fix that. Because that's a bad kid. Bad, bad, bad. We're going to fix your behavior, your bad behavior. Autistic kid. And it's always kids. So this parent here, and that's also pretty much, that entire culture is a big problem with ABA and Autism Speaks. And luckily, this family understands that there are sensitivities. There are things going on in this head. It is not a behavioral problem. It is a reaction to one's environment and what is going on in here. We're not acting out. We're not being hateful.
He has self-injurious behavior and the property destruction.
Very, very, very common. My kids did it. I've done it. Self-harm and so forth. Very, very common. And also, like, I will pinch the inside of my thighs when I am masking when I'm public and I can't properly stim because of the situation or what have you. And in a sense, because I can control how much pressure there is, it's very easy for me, or it's easier for me to self-regulate that way. But there can be bruising and stuff sometimes. So it, in a sense, in that sense, it's not intentional self-harm, but it's self-harm. And there's definitely a lot of autistics because we can't get that out, that stimmy feeling, that end up harming themselves and doing pain or whatever to try to self-regulate. And it's extremely dangerous, and it's something that we have to look out for. When my kids self-harmed a little bit, I didn't understand what was going on, and I talked to them, and we all communicated pretty well, and I could tell that it wasn't going to continue, but it was really weird, really, really weird and uncomfortable. And my son wouldn't get mental health because of the stigma, which Autism Speaks has definitely contributed to the stigma of, one, mental health, and two, autism, to an extreme amount. And that's a huge problem with Autism Speaks.
We're not able to do anything together. Unfortunately, his brother is only able to really be around him for a certain period of time before he just needs a break. What once was this relationship where they couldn't be separated, to now they're almost never together.
Okay, so actually, in a sense, I wouldn't worry about that too much. As autistic people, what do they call it? Something play or whatever. But it's kind of you can be in the same room doing different things. Parallel play is what they call it. You can be in the same room doing different things, and because you're together, but you're not necessarily interacting, it's kind of how we are. A lot of autistic people are together with other people. With, excuse me, my wife, I don't necessarily involve myself in everything that she does, but a lot of times I like to be in the room, or I like it if she's in the room, or even just in the house. Just knowing she's there is very comforting for me, and I feel like I'm with her, which doesn't make sense, but.
The school system has been amazing. They're not just a support system for the family, but they really are a support system for the whole community, because that entire school and everybody in it becomes your family.
The goal is to...
Okay, this is very, very bad. Okay, so this is probably an autistic school or something where they do specialize in ABA therapy and so forth. As soon as you hear that word family, always beware, no matter what. I've been in a cult. I come from a cult background. I studied cults for well over a decade and helped people to get out of cults. And whenever you hear that word family, always beware. And you do need to understand that by the BITE model of authoritarian control, Autism Speaks and ABA both are defined as cults.
To help them be as independent as they possibly can. And that looks different for different kids.
He sits down, he can log into his Chromebook independently.
Okay, I'm going to look up what this Shore Center is. I don't know if we can find it or not. Shore. And I haven't seen this before. Shore Center. I'm going to just put autism. Okay, no. So, what we offer. ABA. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? The thing is the language is very different with the actually autistic community and the cult community, or the ABA slash Autism Speaks, Autism Mom community. That's autism moms are quote neurotypical people that are parents or whatever of autistic kids. So, and then here we go, going right into where we're using these word behaviors here, variable behaviors, and so forth, because these are kids who are acting out. They don't have sensitivities. Now, actually, I'm exaggerating a little, but they somewhat take that into account. But the starting point is that kid is acting up, and we have to make him act differently. Because being autistic and acting autistic is not acceptable. Just how it is. Autism Speaks is very, very ableist that way.
We have our job sampling room in our apartment where we work on leisure skills. He'll clean tables in there, stock shelves, organize. Once he gets the focus, then he is very smart.
There's a saying in the school that the therapist...
No, he is always very smart. He is extremely smart. It's just that he's solving 30 million problems all at once, and you can only handle a couple. There's too much going on in here. But he's extremely smart, I'm sure. I'm absolutely positive. I have not met a stupid autistic person. Not in my life. Ever. We do have a lot of difficulties, and there's some of us that we can't even communicate. But that does not mean stupid.
would use progress, not perfection. And that's kind of...
I'm not trying to suggest that she was saying that autistic people specifically were stupid, but it's just something I felt I needed to address there.
To become our mantra is that, you know, we're just looking for progress.
I learn more from them every single day than I think they learn from me. I'm just happy that I get to be a part of it.
That's because their training is not deep at all. It's very superficial. And the autistic people know more and understand more. About themselves and so forth.
I didn't realize at the time how much I was going to need Autism Speaks.
Okay, now this is now she's going to start getting into in cults. Now, like when you get introduced to ABA, the first thing they're going to do is have a quick win, like that day they're going to, or whatever, they're going to try to fix something really quick, and then they're going to see what we can do, and then they're going to start the 20, 40 hours a week thing or whatever, and slowly they're going to, it's just like with religion, when you can't explain it, always attribute it to God. If there's something good, attribute it to God. Nothing else. And with Autism Speaks, it's exactly the same way. Whatever progress you have, or excuse me, not ABA, whatever progress you have will be attributed to Autism Speaks. And then they start working on the parents. And that's actually more important than the kids. And they start building up this persona of being an autism mom, of having an autistic kid. And they start building this identity. And you'll see that. And I think that's what she's going to start getting into. And that's a normal thing in any cult. That's just how it is.
Needed a graphic designer that preferably had experience with autism. I didn't know then. What I know now is the most amazing support system I could ever have. I was in the middle of the leading organization.
What they do is they try to make people dependent upon ABA and Autism Speaks, and they also disqualify anything outside of ABA and Autism Speaks.
That drove change.
And a lot of times they disqualify by, what do you call it, omission. They disqualify autistic people as being experts about autism by omission. On their website, they do not qualify autistic people as being to help ourselves at all. Just saying.
brought communities together, shared information, and we're just amazingly fortunate to be a part of that. I don't think I could hold another job somewhere with the needs that I have and with the needs that Jack requires. I believe it has saved our family. With all of this said and with all of this in place.
So I don't know if what's going on, if this gal like worked for Autism Speaks or what. The way she's saying all that stuff is really weird. Of course the comments are turned off, and that's always a red flag. Always, 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 always a red flag when comments are turned off. Why? Because they don't want actually autistic people commenting.
It's extremely, tremendously difficult. And that's when you have a village. So my only thought is we need to make the village bigger. We just need a bigger village.
Okay, well, so she didn't go into that identity stuff as much as I thought she might. She kind of brushed by it a little bit.
Let's be honest, the world can be a challenging place. It can knock us down, make us feel invisible, and leave us searching for answers.
So, of course, this is during COVID, this is made.
But when we come together, we realize just how high we can soar. Autistic children, teens, and adults will continue.
They said autistic children. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, they slipped up.
To break barriers and reach new heights. And with your support, we will continue to be by their side.
This is Eileen Lamb's son. She is an executive at Autism Speaks.
Together, we can make a lasting difference in the autism community.
Okay, when they say autism community, they are not talking about actually autistic people. They are talking about ABA, Autism Mom, Autism Speaks people. There are two distinctive groups of autistic people. That's communities, and that is the actually autistic community, and then the distant community, the Autism Speaks, who want to speak instead of autistic people, the autism parents, and all the ABA therapists and stuff who are not very close to it, at least not like autistic people. And they tend to have extremely different outlooks on things than autistic people. And they do not take into account or recognize or qualify what autistic people's experiences are. They just go on with whatever the heck they want to do. Like, we're going to control this behavior. We're going to fix it.
Create a world where all people with autism
So they definitely do not, they are not including all.
Can reach their full potential.
They won't even talk to me.
To donate, visit autismspeaks.org.
I don't know what any of this stuff is. I want to see what they were getting in. I have not seen this stuff. So, okay, so we have to start with a white page. As usual, it's always a white page and a puzzle piece just to disenfranchise the autistic community.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm really honored to sit on this panel and moderate, and I'm glad we're actually getting started.
And, the problem here, oh, wow, it was an hour or something long. The problem with a lot of autistic people, unfortunately, is they really haven't looked into Autism Speaks or whatever, and they don't know that much about it, and they think it's a good organization. And so that's where we get. And also, the other problem is when you take a child and indoctrinate them, brainwash them when they are very small, they are always going to feel dependent upon ABA, Autism Speaks, etc. They're going to feel that the only reason that they're successful in life, if whatever success they've had, they're going to attribute it to Autism Speaks, ABA. Like I said, it's just like a cult. It is a cult, literally. When in doubt, God. When in doubt, ABA. It's made me what I am, and I couldn't have done it without it. And there's, of course, been billions of of autistics throughout the hundreds of thousands of years or whatever. Anyway, moving on.
Welcome to Adulting.
There may not actually be billions of us so far, but
on the Spectrum. I am Andrew, an autistic certified financial planner. I co-run Adulting on the Spectrum with Eileen Lamb. Hey, Eileen.
Hey, everyone. In this podcast, we want to highlight
we have the nice white screen here, of course, which
the real voices of autistic adults, not just inspirational stories, but people like us talking about their day-to-day life. Basically, we want to give a voice to a variety of autistic people.
So today, our guest is Jennifer Cook,
except for me. They will not give a voice to me.
Formerly O'Toole, was identified as being on the spectrum in 2011. An autism advocate, she is the author of 9 best-selling books available in 8 languages, including the foundational The Asperkid's Secret Book of Social Rules. Jennifer is the on-camera autism expert in Netflix's internationally celebrated series, Love on the Spectrum US. She sits on the Autism Society of America's Council of Autistic Advisors and is a multi-award winning international presenter who has spoken everywhere from the White House to the National Institute of Health to royal audiences in Europe. In her work, Jennifer helps unzip hidden social cues.
So my preference when it comes to language regarding autism is that I don't really have a preference. And I know that for some people,
okay, I don't know anything about Love on the Spectrum.
Well,
I'm gonna back out of this. I really want to find some. I'm actually enjoying and these videos actually with these interviews. I really so far I can't complain about the interviews themselves because they're just allowing autistic people to talk. So moving right along. I'm trying to get some more stuff where Eileen speaks specifically, where I can get a voice directly from Autism Speaks, rather than just actually autistic people. Let's see what she says here.
Welcome to Adulting on the Spectrum. I'm Andrew, an autistic certified financial planner. I co-run Adulting on the Spectrum with Eileen Lamb. Hey, Eileen.
Movies and life in Ireland. Okay, we don't care about movies and life in Ireland. Okay, let's just go to the Autism Speaks website. All right, so here we are. There's all these things. Donate, donate, donate. I've had to click 5 times now, and here's another one. Unbelievable. Oh, I'm going to go on live chat. Just 1 second here. Other, okay, submit. Now, yesterday I tried this live chat for like 20 minutes, and it they never were live. Oh, type something. Oh my goodness. Oh, they ended it. Oh, they might have ended it because of who I am. Hopefully they didn't. Okay, so we got other. Submit. We're going to bring this right back over here. Okay, type something. So I'm going to put Keith. Oh, come on! Okay, so now I'm going to lie. I'm going to tell them I'm somebody else to see if they're bumping me off just because of that. Franklin. So we're going to be Franklin. Walgo. I have no idea what Walgo is. So right now what I'm trying to do is get in there, and I am going to email, let's see. So I'm using an old what's a California zip code? I'm gonna put in a California zip code here, so they maybe listen to me. California zip code. I'll just pick some random one. Okay, 93610. 93610. Now we're going to see if Wargo. Oh my goodness. Okay. So it just kicked me off again. So it wasn't specifically me that they were kicking off. It's just it's not working right now, which is just too darn bad. What a shame. But this donate button still works, doesn't it? Look at that. You can go credit card, PayPal. The one easy thing to get to on this website is, see, and here's another pop-up. Yet another pop-up of Autism Speaks. It's amazing how many pop-ups you have to get through on this website. But I imagine a lot of them are this way. So where have I not? Common misconceptions. I have not even gone in this yet. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to start recording. Okay, so I'm going to make a video out of this, I think. All right, let's take a look at the Autism Speaks Controversy and Misconceptions page here. Today, misconceptions around autism threaten to access vital information sources support. While we recognize that autism is extremely complex and manifests itself differently for people across the spectrum, we also recognize that Autism Speaks plays a crucial role. Bullshit. They play a ableist role and acting as a conveyor of vital resources for the entire community. Like I said, they have a horrible 90s search engine right here, and it doesn't work very well. Google is a million times better, but they can say, because they have this horrible search engine, that they provide resources for autistic people. And if an autistic person is trying to find something on the site and they can't find it, that doesn't matter. Not one damn bit. They can still say they provided the resources. That just, They go to, and all they have to say is, well, go to our website. Go to our website. And once again, if someone goes there, they have provided resources. Maybe they aren't the ones you want, but that doesn't matter. So, setting the record straight. We're setting the record straight because misinformation, they're bitching about autistic people here. They're literally bitching about autistic people, complaining about how horrible Autism Speaks is and how ableist they are and the way that they have portrayed autistic people historically and even today. We're setting the record straight because misinformation about bullshit, about past Autism Speaks controversies and autism in general is dangerous for all of us, and the artistic community deserve to know the truth. Okay, now in cults, they will always take a complaint and reframe it into a complaint that they want to respond to, which is not the original complaint because they've reframed it. So, but when they do reframe it, they make it into a question that's very easy to basically write off the original complaint as poo-poo. So let's take a look. Our evolution. Since Autism Speaks was founded in, I'm just going to read this. By the way, you notice the white pages here? You would think that a organization called Autism Speaks would be aware of the fact that people with now they're getting me into saying it. Autistic people often have light sensitivities, extreme light sensitivities. A lot of us do. It's part of the diagnosis. So they have all these white pages. Now, I've designed a website before, and all this white here can be any color you want. I did it on Vistaprint. I mean, it was easy. So this is just another indication of how they disregard actually autistic people. They don't even take us into consideration whatsoever. Okay, advances in research. Okay, that's one of the problems. Since Autism Speaks was founded, advances in research, those advances in research specifically were to cure autism. That was what they said. By curing autism, that means you are eliminating a brain type. So autism is a normal brain type. It is the way our brains formed in the womb. Okay, our brains are slightly different than neurotypical people or holistic people, those who are not autistic. It is not a disease. It has never been a disease. And if you were to, quote, cure autism, which can't be done, we know that, then what you would do was create a different person because you would have to change the brain. Your people, Galileo, Tesla, Bill Gates, there are many great inventors that were all autistic. The greatest inventors of all time, most of them have been autistic. So if you eliminate that brain type, it will be a travesty to mankind. If it was not for autistic people, we would not have electricity or any of the things that you enjoy. Just saying. Advances in research, and this is a problem right now. Autism Speaks needs to completely stop all they need to stop all research. Being the fact that they were doing this research to eliminate, to literally by definition commit genocide, autistic people do not like the idea of Autism Speaks doing research. But they don't care. They are going to do whatever the hell they want to do because they are not speaking for us. They were speaking instead of us and doing what they think they should do, which is basically this is a profit-oriented organization. Millions and millions of dollars in bonuses go to the executive staff each year, and less than $500,000 goes to autistic families, autistic families. We recognize that our understanding of the autism community, again, they don't mean the actually autistic community, they mean the ABA Autism Speaks community, not me. Today is not the same as it was in 2005. We may not, okay, this is the problem. They literally were trying to commit genocide. By definition, by eliminating a type of human being. What if we wanted to eliminate all people with blonde hair? Because we thought that was a disease. That would literally be genocide of blonde people. Just saying. We may not have always been perfect. No, you have been hateful. And this is the thing. It's just like the KKK. What if the KKK, who has lynched black people and so forth, has been extremely hateful to black people, all of a sudden one day say, you know what? We represent black people. We speak for black people. We speak instead of black people. You have a bunch of white people there or something. And that's exactly what has happened here. They tried to commit genocide. It was, they couldn't do it. And they have continued, but they do continue that science. I don't know why. But if they wanted to help autistic people, they need to get rid of all scientific research, because the autistic community hates that. And they have a extremely bad reputation because of it. And that stigma that is attached to Autism Speaks will always be there. It needs to be dissolved completely. And then maybe start an organization for autistic services. We have taken steps to become more inclusive. Until just a couple of days ago, they were still using person-first language. I think they changed that because of me. But it was always, everything on this site has always been framed in people with autism, like it's a disease. With that disease, with that horrible, nasty disease. Autism. Anyway. We may not have always been perfect in our representation of autism. Well, if you had some autistic people in the organization, that might make a difference. You see, Autism Speaks has 216 people that work there, I believe. Out of that 216 people, if you were to take a random sample of people walking out of any store in the world, or sports event, whatever, if 1% of the population is autistic. So you're going to have 2 autistics out of 200 people. They only claim to have 1 autistic person. That's Eileen Lamb, that I know of right now. They certainly don't on the website. So literally, if you were to take a random sample of human beings anywhere in the world, you will end up with more autistic people than on the payroll of Autism Speaks. We recognize that our understanding they're trying to be more inclusive and represent diversity experience of autistic people and their loved ones. The thing is we don't want that. We do not want you speaking instead of us. That's our complaint. We're not asking you. We don't even want you. Yet you don't care because it's all about the money. $39 million and less than $500,000 goes directly to autistic people, autistic families. Examples of our evolution. Autism Speaks stands behind the autism community in working in the federal and state levels to pursue policy solutions for autistic people. Now, okay, we want to talk about policy solutions. Okay, if we're going to go down that road, let's go to non-profit advisor here. Oh, okay. We're going to go to 2023. Now watch this. This is crazy. Um, Actually, this isn't the one I want to go to. I'm going to go to not charity review. Open secrets. Here we are. Now they brought this up. Oh, did I? Okay, I'm going to have to go back a little. Okay, here. Now I'll open a new tab and go to Open Secrets. So right here, they're talking about the federal and state levels. Autism Speaks stands alongside the autism community in working on federal and state levels to pursue policy solution for autistic people and their families. Okay, they're taking credit for over $5.2 billion in federal funding. They are taking credit for that. It's not them specifically. They may have kind of helped, but no. The problem is this. This is the National Republican Congressional Committee. $132,000 is donated in the name of Autism Speaks. And what this National Republican committee is, watch this, it's crazy. Their only purpose is to get Republicans elected into the House of Representatives. The National Republican Congressional Committee is a political committee devoted to increasing the number of Republicans in the House of Representatives. Right here, $132,000. Oh, only $1,300 for this Democrat organization. Now, I must note here, the organization itself did not donate. Rather, the money came from organizations, individual members, employees, owners, and those of individual immediate family members. This it also includes subsidiary and affiliates. So, in the American government, if you want to give favors to politicians to get favors for whatever you want, say science curing autism, what you do is you have if I worked for Autism Speaks, I was the CEO, I would have my wife donate $20,000 out of her pocket. I will, at least technically, it would be from our bank account. So she would give that money in the name of Autism Speaks. Now, in America, what really truly happens in the corporate world is there are always paybacks and kickbacks and favors done specifically to that person. $370,000 in lobbying. It gets much, much worse. When we go here, I'm sorry. Here we go, view filing. Okay, this is 2023, and I want to show you here their contributions to scientific funding. Scientific research. I think it's coming up here. There we go. Now, Autism Speaks says that they do not believe that autism is a disease, yet they want to cure it. Now, the problem is all these science grants and so forth. The purpose of this organization was to commit genocide, to eliminate all autistic brains from the planet, so that no people are born autistic, and all those brains were changed into different people. Because if you change this brain, if you change it out, you have a different person. But that's what they wanted to do, was make me a different person. And I don't want that. I'm an okay person. I am a perfectly normal autistic person. So the problem is 100,000 here, 60, 114, 130, 97,000, 265,000. These are all amounts of money that Autism Speaks donated to all these science grants. This is for research of early detection. They just want to early detect autism. Okay, that's all they want to do now. And that's nobody believes that. And what supposedly the early detection is for treatment and so forth of autism, with their reputation, that is the worst thing they could possibly do. It's just like the KKK saying, well, we are in charge of the black people now. If you want to know anything, if you want to help out black people or whatever, you come to the Ku Klux Klan, because we are the authorities, and those black people don't know what they're talking about. And that's what they're saying, that the autistic people do not know what they're talking about. It's the same exact thing. They do not qualify autistic people as smart enough to help ourselves. Not on their site. They just don't do it. Anyway, I'm wondering, hey, Mark, are you still here? Mark, you know what? Oh, by the way, Mark is an old friend. I never have met him in person. I have known him for so many years. And I think he was one of the people that probably knew I was autistic. All those years I thought I knew. No, I have not. My brain, unfortunately, not intellectually, but emotionally, my brain stopped maturing, I think, at about 9 or 12, emotionally. I don't think I've matured any more than when I was 9 or so, maybe 8. My emotions, that is. Now, am I an adult and a reasonable person? Can I make adult decisions? Of course. But it's really more... I think most people develop throughout their life and their emotions mature. Mine never have. The person who's watching, are you from Autism Speaks? Because I am getting, I've had people watch me on a very regular basis here on YouTube, but they won't ever identify themselves. And I'm pretty sure Autism Speaks is watching my criticism. And if you are, this white page sucks. I'm looking at the screen there, where my I've got my video up where I can see how many people are watching right now. Yeah, these white, you would think a group called Autism Speaks would not have white screens like this that they know would hurt people. Anyway, thanks to federal advocacy experts started by Autism Speaks and its predecessor organizations, okay, they're taking credit for every year our federal funding requests evolve to important issues for the autism community. Now, this is interesting. They said autism community here instead of people with autism. That's really good. From transition age to adult services, supports with those. And you know, they say a lot of this stuff, but they don't outline it real easy. They say we provide services. And once again, they can say they provide. Where is it that they say they're... that they provide services and so forth? Yeah, this website. This website with this 90s web engine that doesn't go anywhere, that sucks bad, and you can do 100 times better on Google. If anyone goes to this website seeking autistic information, they can say that they provided and assisted autistic people. This is how that corporate double talk kind of works. And this is the other thing. Every year, Autism Speaks federal funding requests have evolved to address and implement issues for. We're not going to work with the autistic community. We're just going to do it for them because they're not capable. That's very, very sad. And I think I'm gonna when I get finished through this, I'm gonna go through this, and I'm gonna talk about this for the autism community thing, and I'm gonna make a video about that. There's so many things here to address. Examples of our evolution. Autism Speaks. Okay, we've gone through that. Increased representation and community engagement. Bullshit. Bullshit. They are not actively involved with the actually autistic community. They just aren't. Are they involved with a lot of autistic people and so forth that support Autism Speaks? Yes. Are they involved? Do they talk to? Do they work with the majority of the community? The actually autistic people? No. They don't care. We have artistic employees. They only claim to have one right now that I know of, specifically, and that's Eileen Lamb, one of their executive staff. Leaders, board members who participate in decision making. Our organization also seeks external perspectives. You know what? They won't talk to me. They refuse to talk to me. Now, I know I'm very hard, and I am extremely critical here. And I'm getting more and more critical because they refuse to talk to me. Why can't I have a conversation with Eileen Lamb, who says that she wants to talk to actually autistic people, and why can't we talk about this lobbying for the Republican Party to have Republicans elected into the House of Representatives? Why can't we talk about why they are spending so much money on science when autistic people need actual support, actual services? Autistic people don't want this research. Particularly, even if we did, we wouldn't. No one is ever going to trust it coming from Autism Speaks. It is always going to be associated with genocide and with hate. So it's just a bad idea. You guys just need to drop it and do something else. Do something better. And there are other organizations that can pick up science or whatever else and appropriate science support. And the autistic community does not feel that the funding that you give towards science is appropriate. Just saying. I can't speak for the entire autistic community, but I am extremely involved in the autistic community. And I can give you the tone that I've felt, and I can definitely tell you that I feel that way. Autism Speaks grew out of a coalition research. Here we go, research, because they wanted to cure. And they're still doing all this research. National, okay, these are some of the organizations that they brought in together. Our current science department priorities focus on improving the life for autistic people. See, this is interesting too. They, until a couple of days ago, they wouldn't have ever said autistic people. I couldn't find it anywhere on the site. Maybe it was in some places on accident. I look, and this is my 38th hour going on this stuff, talking about this. Just being on this site, analyzing it like I am now. And I haven't even gotten through this stuff. This is a pretty deep site. It just doesn't help. Through greater understanding of health needs, developing and delivering personalized health care, increasing access, quality care, and enhancing our understanding of autism across the lifespan. Autism Speaks does not support eugenics. That was the purpose of the organization. Literally the purpose of the organization. Just like the KKK. The literal purpose of the KKK was to be prejudiced against black people, and literally and many times to unlife, to kill, to murder. And they did. black people. So what if the KKK said, well, that was just years ago. We are doing so much better now, and that's why we are the representatives, the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. If you want to know anything about black people, you go to us white folks at the KKK, and we'll tell you all about it. Because them black people, well, we're just not going to talk about them or qualify them as knowing anything about black people because, well, they're black. And that's what they're saying about autistic people. They aren't going to qualify autistic people as knowing anything because we're autistic. And no longer supports research that aims to find a cure. Unfortunately, even if that was the case, no one will ever believe it. You guys have dropped the ball and have gone in too deep. That is completely unrealistic and disrespectful to the autism community. Absolutely disrespectful. Autism has become more widely understood in our society. Autism Speaks has shifted focus from our messaging from awareness of autism to acceptance and inclusion. I have not seen that. Okay, whatever. We are committed to celebrating diversity of spectrum, highlighting stories, perspective of autistic people. Wow, we're going with identity first language. This is because of me, by the way. I guarantee you. They just changed the language. I am probably right now the most active person who's speaking out against Autism Speaks, and I've done a lot about the identity first language because the entire site was set up. It was people with autism. When you read it and you would plug in cancer, it read just like a disease. The entire site. And now they're changing that a little bit, which I'm glad to see. That does not make up for their reputation or how people feel about them or what people think about them or will continue to think about them. Same thing with this genocide thing. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid for Autism Speaks to give any money for any scientific research right now. They need to do other things because of their reputation that they created. I think the autism community would be much more likely to accept Autism Speaks if they would just do that. But because there's always science research and because of that stigma, because of what we know of your history, KKK, Ku Klux Klan, Autism Speaks, we doubt it. We don't believe you. And I'm not trying to be hostile here. I'm just saying that's what it is and how it is. Since our founding, we have worked hard to accurately portray a wide range of experiences, one with autism. Oh, bullshit. Now that is a lie. Flat out. Absolute flat out lie.
To be free and flexible and creative was really essential to what I wanted to make, and I didn't find a platform that
Now, since our finding, we have worked hard to accurately portray a wide range of experiences one may have with autism. Unfortunately, sometimes we have missed the mark. This is that. I hadn't got it here. Yeah, the I am autism. Is this going to give us a link? That would be so crazy. Oh, okay. They're not going to give us a link to the video. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. Was published, which represented autism as a burden to families. It was way beyond a burden to families. It demonized us. It said that we would cause divorces, financial ruin, things like that. This video in no way reflective of the Autism Speaks today. We're the KKK. We're the Ku Klux Klan. We don't hate them black people today. We represent them and we speak for them. How's that going to fly, people? Autism Speaks is committed to delivering crucial information and resources to our community. We launched our autism response. Okay, so far I've kind of looked at this and it's not real from what I can see. If so, it's minimally operational. You can't just get on there. And I've tried for a week or two now. And it exists here on paper, so to speak, on screen. It exists here, but in practical purposes, practical application, it is not functional, from what I have seen. Which supports hundreds of thousands of autistic people. And this is, by the way, if you contact the autism response team, they create like a ticket. And they said it was like 776,000 tickets that they responded to where they helped autistic people. Now, they're claiming that they helped autistic people get resources. Once again, all they have to do, no matter what, is say, well, go to the website, and they write off the ticket as complete. Now, it doesn't matter if the website can help them or gave them resources that they needed. They pointed people to resources. This is how that corporate game kind of works. Now, I can't say I know all this stuff is happening. I can say I know corporate America, and I can say that's just how it works. And it is no stretch whatsoever to believe that that's exactly what is happening, because that's what happens. That's just it's how this country works. So the artistic response team helps connect. Who's watching? I would really like to know. Are you from Autism Speaks? Is that why you won't tell me who you are? And if you are, I am glad that you are watching me. They disappeared. I was going to say that I'm so sad to see him leave. Oh my God. They just disappeared. What I said, if you're from Autism Speaks and watching, oh my goodness gracious, how crazy. They'll probably watch a slide or whatever, or excuse me, a reposting of this later, if that's what it was. But yeah, they do watch me. I know that they watch my stuff. Community outreach team also hosts educational webinars, events for artistic people. Every year we expand our database, which, like I said, is this horrible. You try to go navigate this site and find get an actual resource. Say you want a college grant. Say you want help with housing. Say you need help just filling out paperwork or something. Just general autistic stuff that you might need. Google's a million times better. But once again, like I said, this is just kind of a game so that they can say, go to the website and bam, they might mark off the ticket and they helped autistic people. Okay, check out this letter. Oh my goodness, that's it. This page is over. It's done. Check out our, I actually got an email from Keith Wargo. He sent me a specific email talking about my son who committed suicide. And this is Keith Wargo. Autism Speaks is committed to a clear vision. I think he is actually fairly well spoken, from what I can see. A world in which all people with autism. Now, you're going to see these in these testimonials and so forth. Now, because this is something that he read, and they would basically have to completely redo this. Whereas like Learn the Signs or whatever, this is on the page itself. And so this is very easy to put autistic people and change. But you're going to see historically with this type of thing with that they can't change, like these testimonials and so forth, without a lot of work, they're going to see with that autism. And that's characterizing people that are autistic as having a disease. That is how the autistic community looks at it. All right, I am going to, I'm just going to make a video. I'm going to make a quick video. On TikTok, I think. I'm going to see if I... Oh, no, actually, I'll have to make a video here. Okay, I forgot. I got kicked off of TikTok for talking about autistic people, so... Okay, so I'm going to stop recording here. Greetings, minions and associates. If you are already a minion and you would like to... let's talk about Autism Speaks research priorities. This is from the Autism Speaks website. Now, Autism Speaks was created to do scientific research to eliminate autistic people from the planet. They do not like our brain type. They thought it was screwed up, broken, not right. They did not recognize our brain type as a normal human brain type. Instead, they wanted to cure it. And what that would mean is I am autistic because the way my brain formed in my mother's womb when I was a fetus. Okay? If you were to cure me, you would have to get rid of my brain or change my brain and make me someone else. If you prevent autism in vitro, then no other autistic people can ever be born. By definition, if you take a particular type of human, say a blonde human, and you decide to eliminate them from the face of the earth so that they do not exist and are never born, that is by definition genocide. Genocide. So, the problem here is this right here is their 990 schedule from 2022. And all these science grants into the millions and millions of dollars, 116,000, 100,000 here, 100,000 here, 100,000 here, 265,000, 350,000, 144,000, 258,000. All this money is going towards these science grants. Now they say it no longer. Let's take a look at this. Because they're going to claim that they're no longer about this. This is the problem. When your science research, the purpose was genocide, and with your reputation of how you address autistic people as basically a plague, as financially ruining people's lives, as socially ruining people's lives, etc. Once you have gone down that road, you cannot come back. And as long as you are doing any research whatsoever, Autism Speaks, no one will ever trust you. And by the way, what's with all this white page? Do you not realize that people that are autistic might be looking at your page, so you make it all white to hurt them? That's how disconnected you are from our community. Autism Speaks Science Department Priorities. Actually, I haven't seen this. They don't. Okay, they're not going to go into it here. Okay, let's go on. Focus on improving the quality of life for autistic people through greater understanding of health needs, delivering personalized health care, increasing access to quality care, and enhancing our understanding of autism across the lifespan. Autism Speaks does not support eugenics. That was the purpose of Autism Speaks. The purpose of Autism Speaks. The reason Autism Speaks invested in all this science was to eliminate me, was to get rid of me, because I was less than human. When that's your starting point, once again, when you're doing science research, no one is ever going to trust you. Now, let's say that there was an organization that wore white sheets, okay? And they hated a specific group of people, and they tried to unlife them. And then one day they said, we represent those people with our sheets on and our hoods and everything else. And if you want to know about those people, we are the authority. Would that work? No, it's ludicrous. It would be absolutely ludicrous for them white sheet wearing people to represent that group of people. But that's exactly what Autism Speaks has done here. Autism Speaks has become more widely understood. Okay, autism has become more widely understood. Oh God, I hate it when it does that. In our community, Autism Speaks has shifted the focus from messaging from awareness of autism to acceptance and inclusion. So now we're okay. This doesn't even have anything to do. They're kind of this is like a red herring. This doesn't have anything to do with the research. If you want to help improve the quality of life for autistic people through greater understanding of health needs, developing and delivering personalized health care, do that. Provide services for autistic people, actual real services, not a 1990s search engine on a website that doesn't really help, where Google would be 1,000 times better and more efficient. Stop putting that money towards research. As long as you put money towards research, the autistic community will never trust you. Period. Since our family, we have worked hard to accurately portray a wide range of experiences of one with autism. Okay, they're talking about, okay, they're getting off this site. So, I hope this has been helpful. Autism Speaks. Just stop the research funding. This is David Page. Screw them. Flap harder.